Bonnie Ambrose, and I am president of the Dallas Guild, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to the 2015 Dallas Quilters Guild of Dallas show. We have quilts that will make you smile. I know they'll make you smile. They've been making me smile since I've seen some of the entries. So welcome to the largest volunteer show. Isn't it amazing? If you volunteered for this show, even 1 hour, I want you to raise your hand. Okay. If you volunteered for 5 hours, raise your hand. For 10, raise your hand. Look at this. Isn't this amazing? It's totally amazing. So thank you. Thank you. So we have quite a show in store for you this evening, and we've got some great announcements about the winners of Pride of Dallas Best of Show Judges Quilts. So I know you're anxious to hear about those. It is my pleasure to introduce this evening the 2015 show chair, who has done so many things for the Guild, including leading this organization for a couple of years as well. And I can't tell you what a great partner she is for me. Help me and welcome Judy Crean. Yay, Judy.
I want to welcome you to our party, and I have to emphasize the word "our." I want to give a big shout out to my bestie, Marie Dadakowski, Donna Petrie, Joellen Tickner, Terry Reese, Gail Lewis, Frances Hafer, Terry and Ann Mosher, and Wanda Anderson for keeping me in the loop and picking up the slack, and to all the other committee members for doing their jobs. Carol, Sue, and Ann and vendors, Cindy, Candy, and Martha at the volunteer desk, Val and her crew in special exhibit, the Donnas in the staff lounge, Martha and Trey in the office, Marty, Ed, and Rhonda getting the plants out on the show floor, Linda and her crew getting the reception for the night set up. The list just really goes on and on. And tomorrow, more committee chairs will be jumping into action, greeting our guests, selling fun stuff from the Guild store, selling raffle quilt tickets, signing up new members, white gloving the judge show, leading tours, coordinating demos, promoting the Benny Oxton welcoming tour group, signing up appraisals, helping our lecturers get set up. It's just a really amazing, well-oiled machine that this show actually is. So, while I know that a whole lot of the committee members have already gone home exhausted from a long day, I'd like the members who are here to stand for a round of applause. We have a few special awards, as Bonnie previously mentioned. First up, we have Richard Larson to introduce our Pride of Dallas judge.
Okay, this year our Pride of Dallas judge, her name is Nicole Stutzman Forbes. Nicole?
Hello everyone, it's been a great pleasure for me to spend the last hour and 15 minutes or so in the heaven of quilts that is out there to explore. And I had a difficult time narrowing down my decisions. I came down to 2 works of art and spent a little bit of time going back and forth, and they were completely different from one another in terms of overall composition, the color choices, but I really enjoyed looking at everything. Drum roll. The choice that I did make is Dottie Mae Groves, Blueberries and Cream, which is this gorgeous quilt, if you haven't seen it yet, of this striking blue color with pops of white flowers over it. And it's a hand-quilted piece. Hi! Congratulations! Your quilt is beautiful. And what really, it struck me initially as I was going through the first round that I walked through. It was a total showstopper for me in terms of I was looking in one direction and I turned around and I said, wow, that really grabs you. And I think in part that's the color and the simplicity of that contrast between the 2 colors, so it's just gorgeous. And then when you move in a little bit closer and you see the evidence of your hand and all the stitching, I just love that. I love looking at the stitching on all of the works in this sense of the artist's hand, like sketching with stitches and sketching with thread. That's really, really wonderful to revel in for a little while. So congratulations, Dottie Mae.
And now, the co-chair of our judging committee, Frances Hafer, to introduce our esteemed judging panel.
Thank you. Mary Lord and I were co-chairs of the judging committee this year, and we had 3 longtime friends of the Guild come in and judge for us today. And it was just a really fun day for me, and I've told them to say the same thing, so let's see what comes out. We're going to go in reverse alphabetical order every time. So first is Karen Stone, a quilter since 1986. Karen's inspiration manifests equally of innovation and tradition. Her quilts have won numerous awards, including first prizes in international competitions, and her designs appear frequently in exhibition. Her clam session quilt received the Master of Innovative Artistry Award at IQA in 2009, and her Indian orange peel quilt was People's Choice at Quilt National 95. Having enjoyed success in design, publication, teaching, and judging, she finds no greater satisfaction than in hand stitching binding onto a newly quilted piece, with the possible exception of students returning to report that they're having a lot more fun quilting since taking her color class. Karen holds degrees in piano from Baylor and Indiana universities, has 2 beautiful children, a perfect dog, 3 terrible cats, and has recently moved back to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Please join me in welcoming Karen Stone.
What a fun day we had. It was a tremendous privilege to be able to view the quilts, and it's such a difficult job to have only so many awards and so many fabulous quilts. You know, a judge's choice can be sort of a capricious thing. You know, the only rule is you have to love it. And there were so many different ways to go. But the quilt that I did choose is called Graphics 1 by Carrie Green from Dallas, Texas. And I thought it beautifully exemplified an art quilt and a modern quilt. And I just loved looking at it. Thank you so much.
Our next judge is Gerald Roy. Gerald is an educator, painter, quilt maker, designer, and author. He is a quilt appraiser certified by the American Quilter Society and administrator of the AQS Quilt Appraisal Certification Program. He currently serves on the boards of the New England Quilt Museum in Lowell, Massachusetts, the Acquisitions Board, and the National Quilt Museum in Paducah, Kentucky, the Executive Board of Directors, the National Advisory Board, and chair of the Acquisitions Committee. I said that wrong. Did I? That's about right. Roy. He is curator for Quilts in Color, the Pilgrim Roy Collection, a highly successful exhibition at the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston, which opened in April of 2014. He holds a BFA from the California School of Arts and an MFA from Mills College, both in Oakland, California. Originally from Massachusetts, Gerald returned to New England after spending 38 years in Oakland, and he now resides in Warner, New Hampshire. Please welcome Gerald Roy.
What a fun day we had. I followed directions. Really was a fun day. It was a fun day on a number of different levels. First of all, being with 2 people who are a lot of fun to be with. But for Karen especially, I gave my first judge's choice to Karen the first time I was here in Dallas a number of years ago. We won't say what year that was, but at any rate, thank you for inviting me back. It's always fun to be here. It's always a great show with great people, great part of the world. And you know, the most wonderful thing about quilt making is that it's really always offered an opportunity for people, at no matter what level they wanted to actually participate in this particular craft. And that's not a dirty word. Craft in this sense is a very proud sort of word to explain what we do. But I've always enjoyed what patchwork actually has to offer, because patchwork really is the essence of what we all do. It's cutting and working with cloth. So over the years, I've always been interested to see what was being done on the latest level. And it's been wonderful to see over the last, again, we won't talk about numbers of years, to see what innovations have been done. And this show, as well as more than probably others, it really has allowed people to do what they wanted to do with regards to how far they wanted to take the medium and how far they wanted to express themselves. And there were a group of quilts in the show this year, and I happened to choose one of those, and it's called A New Riff by Heather Prager, Fort Worth, Texas. And I think what it does is it shows patchwork at its best, but it also shows patchwork with what we can do with it today for people who want to take it just one step beyond just the tradition. So don't miss it. It's a great piece, and it's a great show.
And before I introduce our last judge, Lisa Erlandson, I want to make a note that Gerald and Karen are both giving lectures this weekend. Gerald's giving 2 lectures tomorrow, one at 11 and one at 2, about the exhibit at the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston about the Pilgrim Roy collection.
And they're not the same.
And they're not the same lecture, so there's one at 11 and one at 2, and they build upon each other, and they're free lectures, so please come. And on Saturday at 11, Karen's giving a trunk show for quilts, which have been recently located. So our final judge is Lisa Erlandson. Lisa is an AQS certified appraiser of quilted textiles, a lecturer, quilt restorer, quilt show judge, teacher, and quilt historian. Lisa has an extensive collection of antique quilts that she shares during many of her lectures. She has spoken internationally and teaches and lectures at venues from small local guilds to national quilt shows. She has been the certified appraiser of quilted textiles since 1998. She also judges quilt shows ranging from county fairs to statewide shows. Lisa served on the board of directors and as a newsletter editor for the Professional Association of Appraisers of Quilted Textiles and is currently serving as president of the American Quilt Study Group. Lisa has a Master of Arts degree in Public Communications from the University of North Texas. She taught junior high school, and college before deciding to focus on the quilt world. Please join me in welcoming Lisa Erlandson.
What a fun day we had. The very first quilt show I ever attended was the Dallas Quilt Show.
Amen.
I brought a child in a stroller because I didn't, and you let strollers in, I don't know if you still do or not, but I had no idea what I was going to see. I had made 1/2 or less of one quilt. And I came and it kind of changed things. Well, it changed my pocketbook, definitely. I didn't know there were vendors at quilt shows. I didn't know anything about it. And it was wonderful, and I am not sure that I have missed many shows. That was, I think, in 1990. I'm not sure that I've missed many shows since then. And serving as a judge, coming from somebody local, you guys set a very high bar for all quilt shows around the region. And so I just thank you and commend you. It was a really fun, it really was a fun day. Not just because we've been threatened. But it was a great day, and the volunteers are wonderful, and the quilts, like I said, you set a high bar. And having been to national and international shows, this show really hasn't changed since the very first time that I came in 1990. It's still my favorite show, no matter what I go to. So thank you very much. When given the opportunity to choose a judge's choice, I kind of like to go with whimsical, fun. So I was really excited about the whole theme of this year. I like things where people are allowed to show their personalities, and I really like happy, fun personalities. And so for my judge's choice, I chose Never Give Up by Judy Ullman of Irving, Texas.
I can certainly attest to Lisa's comments about this show being life-changing. I remember my first show that I went to was at the Dallas Automotive Building at Fair Park. And at that time, I was a consummate Zoomer. I would go and look at things, and it took me 30 minutes to go, okay, been there, done that, I'm done. And so I figured to go into the quilt show, 30 minutes, I'd be out and doing something else. And about 4 hours later, I staggered out the door like, oh my God. And I mean, like I remember seeing a quilt there that was made by the Joanne Newman, who was married to Paul Newman. Like, how can that be? And I'm looking at the hometown, it's, oh my God. So anyway, I realized I left out a very important group from introduction, and that's the people who entered the show, because there wouldn't be anything to look at if nobody entered. So would everybody who entered a quilt or two in the show please stand? Woo-hoo! Okay, my secret
Not yet, you're not.
not?
No, we got something else first.
Oh.
Okay.
Not a corsage, I hope.
No,
Thank God.
it's a little better. So for Judy and her A team and Mr. T, which when you look at the quilts out there, you'll see her Mr. T quilt.
I pity the fool.
Yeah, it's really good. And all of her minions on the show committee.
Awesome!
We have this A team with all of her minions on the show
My
committee.
nipples showing.
And her nipple showing. And this is for you.
I get to hug you before you leave. I don't call that. Kill yourself first. That's always good. That you've been waiting for, the revelation of our best of show for 2015. Our winner is no stranger to this show. She probably owns more sewing machines as a result of entering our show than anybody in the history of the show. It is entitled Jacobean Dream by Linda Roy of Knoxville, Tennessee. Okay.
Got it? Okay.
I don't know what happened here. Oh.
So we'll go hang it.
And now, go forth and view some quilts.